This is timely actually. I'll just show you what happens when one of these big river cruisers goes past. Yeah, it's not particularly pleasant experience, although they're not as bad as some of the big private motorboats are the worst, because they go herring up there at double the speed that's going. And yesterday one did it and literally half the fenders popped out. But this one shouldn't be too bad. Give you a bit of perspective on it. Somebody filming me there on the top deck as I'm filming them. Yeah, and they'll go over on the right hand side there and go in, and then so I'll wait about sort of 20 minutes or something before I go, for everything to just settle again. And here comes the wash. I almost lost my balance there. Thankfully there aren't many of them. I had the fenders set higher up before. The fenders were all set about 6 inches higher, and literally they popped out when this big private boat came past. For their size, those big river cruisers are not so bad. I guess they designed them so to minimise the wash that they create, and thankfully they don't run through the night. Right, yeah, so I'm just keeping an eye on the depth now as I approach the lock. I'm coming back into the main channel. I've just been out in that sort of area just having a look at what the depths are, and yeah, you can anchor in this area here quite happily. Although it does get pretty shallow, it does get very, very shallow, so you would probably be better off just sticking to just outside the channel. I'm not going to get too close actually, because it looks, I don't know if you can see it on the camera, but it looks like the lock has just let out a load of water into the main river, and I don't want to get caught, and because you've got less steerage as you go downstream than you have going upstream, if that makes sense. Yeah, you can see it all flowing downstream now. We're just going to turn around and head back downstream then now. Right, I've just pulled out of the main channel again actually, because well, there's a big river cruiser just coming up here. He's just given a massive toot on his horn, which presumably wasn't for my benefit. It was presumably to let the lock know that of his imminent arrival. I'm just keeping an eye on the depth gauge, because I'm well outside of the main channel here, so I don't want to run aground, especially as the tide is leaving at the moment. It'd be a long wait if I did run aground. The second one is a smaller private boat. Yeah, I mean, there's 3 meters of depth here where I am now. You could anchor here quite happily. It'll drop by about another absolute maximum of a meter. So yeah, anywhere around here you could anchor quite happily. I wonder if they're all socially distanced on there. It doesn't look like it to me, but maybe there are a collection of bubbles on the top deck there. They're all in their family bubbles. Actually, it was on the news this morning, or last night in fact, it was on the news that England has not put Portugal back on the queue list. Wales and Scotland have put Portugal back on the queue list. However, I mean, I'm here for another week. It's Friday today, and so I'm here for another week. And so next Thursday there'll be another announcement. And sod's law, you watch, next Thursday rather, they'll announce that Portugal is back on England's queue list as well. Probably from 4 AM on Friday morning, and I actually arrive back in the UK on Friday evening. Anyway, let's see, that's in a week's time. Yeah, this is just a smaller boat coming up now. And that's where we were last night, just over there. Get back in the main channel now then, after this one's gone through. These little ones, these small private boats, they create almost more wash than the great big ones. Yes, a sleepy, I don't know, some very, very small town, large village, I'm not sure what you would call it, but the church on the top of the hill there, just behind that church, is where I found the little pharmacy, where I got my rosin spray. Never would have found that without the old Google Maps. Again, you can see the flow. Looking at the marker. That's a nice spot just over there. Actually, that little place there is another possibility. I might try stopping there next time. The pontoons look to be in a little bit better condition from here. I can see that there are some cleats on there. But there are also some local boats tied up there, so I'm not sure on that one. I'd have to have a closer look. Tell you what else has struck me while I've been in here in Portugal, as well, is how clean everywhere is. I mean, in terms of litter, or lack of. Even Porto, which is a pretty big city, it's super clean. Yeah, you can see that there's still quite a bit of flow downstream. Tail of it. Interesting, because as the river meanders down, it's quite a windy river, and so the channel has swapped from being on the right hand side of that bend. It's always on the outside of the bend, and then we're just about to just approaching a bend going around on to the left, so the channel has swapped sides now over to the right bank. I mean, again, this area here, I'm now just about on the edge of the channel where I am now. This whole area here, you could anchor anywhere there. In fact, we're here. What am I talking about? We're actually here. This is where I am planning on anchoring. Oh Lord, get a grip, David. I hadn't spotted the bridge there. Anyway, more when I've put the anchor down. Right, I've put the anchor out and dug it in. by giving it blast in reverse. So yeah, we are pointing upstream again now because the flow is still downstream. I'd forgotten actually, yeah, I've forgotten that this area where I said I was going to anchor was only just around the corner from Crestuma. So, what's the state of play? 2.1 metres underneath the keel at the moment, and we're about 3/4 of an hour or so from low water. So, I doubt it's going to drop to anything less than 1.5 or something like that. I've got about 20 metres of scope on the anchor, which means if when it starts filling again, I swing around on the anchor in this direction, in other words, if the boat starts going over that way, I imagine that there will still be enough water underneath the keel that I won't ground. Plus it'll actually be filling as well, so even if I do ground, it's only sand and it's filling, so it won't be very long before I unground. So yeah, we should be absolutely fine here. So that's what we've got on this side, and then you can see where the main channel goes. So I'm well and truly outside the main channel here. You can see the red and green markers there, so any of that heavy traffic is going to be staying well within the channel. You can see how far I am from the channel there. So yeah, we should be absolutely fine here. And yeah, the anchor should be well dug in because it's sand on the bottom. I will later on. I've got an app on the phone which will monitor the GPS position. So I will set that. Certainly set it before nightfall anyway. So yes, a nice relaxing day at anchor. I'll probably put the boom tent on actually to give a bit of shade. It's a hard life, but somebody's got to do it. Yeah, so it's almost low water now. So it'll be interesting to see what happens when the direction of flow changes, when it starts to fill again. So down there you can see everything's pointing downstream at the moment. So if anybody's watched Sailing Canopé, I think it's Sailing Canopé, all those anchor tests that they did. I mean, I haven't got a video camera on the seabed or anything like that, but this is actually the first time I've used the new Knox anchor, one of the so-called new generation anchors, a 9 kilogram one, which is the recommended size for the boat. So if there's any anchor obsessives happen to see this, I'll let you know what seems to be happening with the anchor when the direction of the river flow changes. Put the spray hood up as well because that's giving some shade in the cockpit. And yeah, depending on, I'm not sure where the sun's going to go, I think it's going to go over in that direction, so I'll probably put the boom tent on a bit later as well. It's so much cooler in the middle of the river here than it is tied up to the side. It's absolutely lovely. Frankly, it's a bit too hot tied up to the side, but yeah, nice breeze down the river today. Really beautiful. Yeah, it's just started filling again now. The depth has just changed from 1.8 to 1.9, so yeah, the flow has changed, and in perspective we've got a slightly different perspective on those channel markers there. So yeah, we're now pointing downstream instead of pointing upstream. So it's going to rise by about 3 metres, so we've been about 5 metres at the highest point, and I've got about 20 metres of scope, so that's 4 to 1 at the moment. Scope of 4 to 1, which should be fine, but obviously I'll keep an eye and might let out a little bit more if necessary. Yeah, there's a lovely fresh breeze here. one of these private motorboats just coming over. I just let a little bit more scope out, and it's nylon road that got about 10 meters of nylon road now. So effectively, that's giving the that's acting as a snubber. So let's see what the wash is like from this one, which is about to appear. Yeah, I mean the one that bounced me off the pontoon yesterday morning was going about twice the speed of that one. That one's not too bad. I think is that about a 50-footer, something like that. It's a fair old size. Yeah, these private ones, that type of boat seems to create more wash than the big hotel ships. Yeah, this doesn't look too bad at all. Says he. By the time it reaches us, it's but you will feel it. The boat will start bouncing up and down a little bit in a second. See the little wave. See it washing up on those rocks over there. Surprised it's such a gentle flowing river. Well, it's such a big river. I mean, the current I think flows at about 2 or 3 knots at its peak in this tidal part. But yeah, you can see the wash from that motorboat over there now on the rocks. Right, here's another one. The Douro Prince. Look at the windows there on the bottom level, which I think are the sleeping cabins. Almost at the waterline. Must be quite a novelty having a bedroom and the water level is this is almost at the windowsill level. These are pretty much empty at the moment, these hotel ships. That's an old hotel ship. I mean, they're suitable for rivers only, I would imagine. I don't think you would want to put to sea in one of those. The bottom will be pretty much flat. But yeah, the non-day tripping boats, there's nobody on them. Not really sure why they're running up and down the river, so that people can see. Here we are. Bouncy, bouncy. Actually nothing like as bad as when you're sat on a pontoon, because you just bash against the pontoon. So I arrived here about 11 o'clock this morning. It's now 1 o'clock. I don't know where time goes. It's about lunchtime. Yeah, we're settled in this direction now anyway, and to be like this for the next 6 hours, and then it's timed quite nicely actually. I've put a little anchor light out before it goes dark, and by which time it will have changed to flowing downstream again. Here's another big private mobo, and it'll seem on the video, the final video, that there are one of these every 10 minutes. They're about one every 2 hours or something like that, so that is a big one. It's more like 80 feet or something like that, I think. Never looks as though there are any waves or anything like that on the video, but getting this one side on. I'm going to sit down for this. Right, I'm going to have a little siesta now. I've been lying in the sun for too long. So yeah, I have set the little anchor app, but just for a visual, I've got the green and the red there on one side, and roughly about the same distance away on the other side is that cylindrical lump of concrete, whatever it is, that you can just about see there. So yeah, I've set it to 20 meters. If I drift any more than 20 meters from where I am, an alarm will go off, and the tide isn't going to change direction in the time that I'll be having a little siesta. So in which case I would move more than 20 meters because I'd swing right round. But yeah, I'll be absolutely fine for an hour or so. But we haven't moved at all, so yeah, I mean, it's all good. Right, I've had a little siesta. Very pleasant it was. And in the meantime, we've changed direction again now. So that's the same direction we were facing when we arrived this morning. The water's quite a lot deeper, which is why we're sort of a little bit further forward than we were before. And as soon as the level starts to decrease again, we'll fall back a little bit further that way as the level drops again. I've got my little folding bucket thing there. Have a good wash. Leave that in the sun for an hour or so, and it'll be quite a nice temperature. So yeah, I'll have a bit of a bucket wash on the foredeck, I think. By which time it will have cooled down a little bit. But yeah, what a pleasant day at anchor it's been. Yeah, so it's just coming to dusk. I'm just going to put the little anchor light out, which is this little thing here. which is just plugged into the cigarette lighter socket here, and it's automatic. So yeah, is it on and off and on and off. So yeah, I'm just going to put that over the boom there, sling it over the boom, and when it goes dark enough it'll come on, and then when it comes light enough in the morning it'll go off. Very nice. I'll bid you good night.